What is up? This is JT. But anyways, let's get right into it. This is the older model Craftsman 19.2 circular saw. It's a trim saw, 5.5. This is the newer version. It cuts a lot better, and also it spins faster, so we're not going to delve into that. What we need to do on this one is actually re-grease it. This is all I have for right now. I use this for everything. But anyways, I took just like a little oil pen and kind of got some in this bearing, this front bearing. What you have to do is take off this plate, which is 4 screws right here, and then this can come off, but you have to take your blade off first, of course. And then once you take all the screws out of the back and this little knob, you pop the top off, and be careful you don't lose this little white rubber thing right here, because that's what holds your Allen key in. And also the screws, don't lose those. And that is all of the electronics right there. And what I also need to do is remove what seems to be the same viscosity as the wheel bearing grease I'm about to put in there, which, as you can see, is a motor that is easily removed from this. So if you have other tools with the same motor and it burns out, you can swap them out. But anyways, as you can see, there's a little needle bearing, and where the saw gear goes in this direction. And I'm cleaning all these parts, and I'm going to re-grease them. So I got to get all this out, and then I'm going to put wheel bearing grease in there, and we're going to try it and see if it still makes that awful whirring, whining sound. And also you got to clean all in here and then replace that grease. This is how the blade lock mechanism actually works. What it does is actually grabs the teeth on the gear of the motor, which is strange, but whatever works. And just make sure you remember where all the wires are routed. I probably won't, but whatever. And also you got your safety trigger. Now you don't have to put this back if you don't want to, but that's on you. Cautionary. So we're gonna remove all this grease, and if you have speed cream from like a skate shop, I would say that's your best bet. But since I don't, I just used this very low viscosity oil, and we're going to try that and see if we can stop it from making a whining, whirring sound. But for some reason, when I took this saw apart, the electric brake, it didn't function before. When I took it apart and put it back together, you know, vacuum out sawdust and stuff, the electronic brake started working. Now on this saw, the electric brake stopped working and doesn't work. I don't have a battery right here, I'd show you, but for some reason it doesn't work. I have no idea why. I'm not going to get into it. We're just going to do this. So let's get to cleaning out some of the grease. Start in here with a paper towel. Be careful not to leave any lint. Alright, as you can see, this grease has seen better days, so that's why we're cleaning it out, and we're going to replace it with hopefully a similar type of grease. This is a high temp. It doesn't need to be this thick, but it's all I have, so we're going to deal with it. Okay, so there's a lot of the grease. What I'm taking is a screwdriver and kind of prying it out of the little spots. You don't have to get all of it, just try to get most of the dirty stuff. And I lied about that having a pin. It does not have a pin. As you can see, it was just the grease that looked like a pin. So that's crazy. But I'm doing my best to get it out of here. Then grab your electronics and get it out of here. And then what we'll do is fill both back up. Try to get all this dust out of here too. Alright, so I got some new grease in there. Got some in here, not to put too much. I'm going to squish it down in there and see if it's enough. But you just basically put this gear back in, just like that. Make sure it's touching some of the grease. Since I put so much on the top right here, when I put this back together, it should have some to go all around the gears. If I didn't put enough, then it's coming right back apart. So I guess we'll find out. So I'm just going to squish this down and then kind of pull it back up to see what it looks like. And I actually pulled the gear with it, so that should be good. Now let's get her screwed back together and see if she makes noise. Okay, this little terminal right here, it can only go in one way, which is the red wire is going to go towards the bottom of the tool. But it can only go one way because of the way it sits in here. So, like I said, it can only go one way. But anyways, let's see if it's making less noise. Alright, first it was making the noise, and then eventually it gave up on making the noise, so I guess the grease got on the right spot. And the brake stop is now not working again. But now we have a fresh saw out of an old tool laying on the shelf. So getting it back together is just pretty much the same as taking it apart. Just follow the exact opposite steps. Just to finish this out, this is what it should look like. The wires run through those little slots around here. Make sure these are stacked on top of each other, and then they go in these slots. And these wires are going to need to be pushed out of the way, because inside here there's a little slot for the wires. So if you can't get the wires lined up when you're putting this back on, just take this top off, but otherwise you don't have to. But just like this, red, black, all like that. Okay, to finish this video out, this is fully put back together. And let's give it a test. Before, it was making a whirring kind of noise. Let's see how it does. And the brake stop actually works. Just for comparison's sake, let's throw the battery in the other one. Comparison's sake. Now, I don't know if you can hear it, but there's like a rattling, almost just very annoying noise that this one now doesn't make, and the better one does.